Hello everyone, welcome back to Analysis Trends. I'm Rupam. I'm currently a business analyst. In this video, we are going to cover about the techniques from the Babok book. There are 50 techniques in the whole guide. We're going to cover each of the technique in each of the videos and we'll try to explain you the context, meaning, and a simple example of how to use each of these techniques while you perform your tasks. These are very important techniques as per the Babok, it's 10th chapter. So stay tuned, there will be 50 videos coming in for the playlist called BA Techniques. And you can also go and find the content related information on analysistrends.com, which is already there under analysistrends.com/BA Techniques. So let's get started with business analysis technique one called acceptance criteria and evaluation criteria, and we'll find out how this criteria help a business analyst in order to do his tasks. So the context here is the criteria, that is acceptance criteria and evaluation criteria. We have used different whys technique, like why we use that, how we use that, when to use that, where to use that, and what to remember. So the first one is the purpose, why we actually need to understand acceptance criteria, the condition or the standard of a product acceptance. If you want to understand the condition or standards for product acceptance, then the acceptance criteria technique is required. Why we use evaluation criteria? Used to assess quality, performance, or effectiveness of that particular solution. That is where you use evaluation criteria to assess them. Next is when to use. When to use acceptance criteria. Throughout the project lifecycle, from planning to delivery, till it's get delivered, we'll use acceptance criteria. Every time we use it in order to accept the conditions or standard applied on the product. When can we use evaluation criteria? When comparing multiple options or alternative, when you assess quality, performance, or effectiveness. No matter what you select, you will have multiple options within you when you can select any one of that particular solution or alternative of the solution based on the quality, performance, and effectiveness. Why to use, right? Ensure clear understanding and manage expectations. When using acceptance criteria, we should have clear understanding and you should be managing expectations based on what can be achieved. A realism should be coming out. Why it is so important? Next, why it is so important for evaluation criteria? Make informed decision based on predefined criteria. We already have set a criteria and acceptance criteria. Right? Now, based on that, we can make an informed decision. That is the reason we use evaluation criteria. And to give a clear understanding and manage expectations, we use acceptance criteria. Implementation, how to use evaluation and acceptance. So while doing acceptance criteria, any requirement you get, you need to use a SMART framework, which is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. We will discuss about this in more detail in the next video, but for now, understand SMART framework can be used in order to implement the acceptance criteria. How do you implement the evaluation criteria? Tailored to context and goal, considering qualitative and quantitative factors. What we discussed there about quality, performance, effectiveness, or the goals, context, everything, whatever you do is indirectly is nothing but you are evaluating and giving a particular decision based on what is right and what is wrong for the solution. Next, where to use. Okay, we know when to use during the life cycle, but within that, where to use. So used in project management, planning, and delivery. Definitely, it is used from all the levels from planning to delivery. But every time, if you want to assess or if you want to know the condition or standard of product before rolling out to accept that product, definitely we use acceptance criteria. Decision making processes such as procurement, project prioritization, or product development. So evaluation criteria is used during project prioritization and or product development, right? Next is consideration. What to remember when you actually work with acceptance and evaluation criteria. Involve stakeholders, ensure realism and feasibility. That is what we just discussed, right? Next is customized criteria. Consider weighting, and involve stakeholders. Definitely customize the criteria. That means whatever measures you are picking up in order to choose the solution, make sure those measures are actually considered weighing. That is balanced basically. Not it is not involved or influenced by one of the stakeholder. It should be a balanced weighing, and it should involve stakeholder, and definitely the criteria should be customized. What exactly we have learned now, we'll try to understand in a meaning, so that uh, the whatever I have explained in the first slide was context, what is written in the Babok. Now what I'm doing is explaining you what exactly it means, right? So let us go with a simple meaning and then I'll go with an example. So the criteria, acceptance criteria and evaluation criteria. The purpose, as per the meaning, is specific condition for a website. I have considered a website example. So specific condition for a website to be accepted by the client. So when can the client accept this particular website is completed or working based on certain conditions, right? That condition, such as like specific features, meeting performance targets, being compatible with certain browsers, those conditions, if those conditions are satisfied, then you are doing an acceptance criteria. So you are actually using acceptance criteria in order to achieve those particular conditions. So that is where the condition is accepted, or the condition is actually, you need to be assessing that condition, right? And that is accepted by the client because they have a certain condition. Evaluation criteria is different here. Standards used to evaluate different website options, such as cost, quality, timeline, technology stack, and scalability. So let's say you want to build a website, that is your ultimate goal. But here, you're evaluating based on cost, quality, timeline, technology stack, and scalability. Which particular platform is best for me to invest now in order to build a website? So you are indirectly doing evaluation based on the factors. It might be anything, right? That's the purpose, what we just learned. Application, when to use during website development project, throughout the website development lifecycle from planning to delivery, right? When comparing different website development or proposal or vendors. Now you as a client want to build a website. For you, the evaluation criteria would be you are comparing different website platforms or proposal or vendors based on the factors what you just mentioned. Importance, why to use, right? Now, ensure clear understanding between development team and client, manage client expectation. This is more for a business analyst, where he gives a clear understanding between the development team and the client and manage the client expectation. What is client expecting? That his website should have specific features. So that need to be implemented. That is a responsibility. That is only accepted when the feature is there. So that product is only accepted when those features or conditions are met. So for a BA, this is very important that conditions need to be accepted by the client, or the client will have certain expectations based on the condition, right? Make an informed decision based on predefined criteria or project requirements. Now, this can be for a BA or for the client or for the stakeholder as well, where he need to decide which particular option is fine. Let's say we got features, so login feature. Within login feature, if you want to build a mobile application view, you might have different solution options. You might build in a way, it might be a toggle, it might be a button, it might be some other radio button, anything it might be. Now, the decisions, you are not a decision maker, but you have options and you would recommend uh, stakeholders to suggest the best out of which what is helping them. Again, all of these three should be aligned with the same goal, same project timeline, same milestone. It should not be something like very different. So for you is, they just want a login button and it might be anything. Then you need not to worry about evaluating because they only state it what. But if they want to evaluate which one is working faster based on time, then this three option, which one is working faster, you need to evaluate, and that would give them the perform informed decision that okay, the second one is working fine with a button feature. So this is something example, okay? How to use it. Now write user stories. When as a BA, we'll write user stories. We define acceptance criteria test for each feature, review with the client during sprint demos. Basically, let's say for the feature of login, we write user stories like an as a user, I want to log in so that I can use the app. The testing thing here is The user should enter the email address. The user should be having the password, login button. As soon as he clicks on the login button, he goes to the next screen, and the screen is visible with the home page or recommended section, something like that. So whether to check if it's working or not, that acceptance criteria help you in order to do the testing. What about implementation? Like, how do you do for evaluation criteria? Develop a scoring system for each certification. Gather proposal from vendors, compare based on established criteria. This is very different. This is not dependent on a particular feature. It is dependent on the product. Out of, let's say you want to buy a mobile, so you compare different websites based on factors like cost, price, the delivery time, the capacity, the chip, the RAM, the ROM, right? So that is what you are evaluating, right? Context, where to use within the project. Used in website development from planning to design, development, and is same. Used during vendor selection process, perfect. Prioritization feature, which one of them or which particular plan is giving you the more features, or making technology decisions, you use evaluation criteria. Consideration, what to remember. Involve the client in defining acceptance criteria, ensure feasibility and realism, what we just learned. And tailor criteria to project goals, requirements, consider weighing based on priority. That is what we just learned. So this is the meaning of a particular acceptance and evaluation. Now, for anyone who still didn't understand what exactly we are talking about, you have a very good example for you for acceptance criteria for real-time order tracking and evaluation criteria for again real-time auto tracking. So now consider that we are just focusing on acceptance criteria and we are using a real-time order tracking feature within a food delivery app. Okay, so the purpose here is specific condition for a real-time order tracking feature to be accepted by the client, such as accuracy of location updates, user interface design, and performance. These are the three conditions where client will be accepting that particular feature. What is that? Location, updates, interface design, and performance of particular feature. When to use this acceptance criteria? Here now, throughout the feature development lifecycle, until and unless the feature is delivered, you will use acceptance criteria. Why we use that? Ensure clear understanding between development team of the clients and managing client expectation. What is the client expectation? That every time the accurate location updates, user interface design, and performance, these three conditions should be there in that particular application, then only that particular feature is accepted. Otherwise, that feature is not accepted. So real-time order tracking is your feature name. And when that feature can be considered as successful, only when the three conditions are met. What are those three conditions are? Accuracy, user interface design, and performance. Now implementation, how to use. Write a user story for each of that particular small what you can say feature. Again, within they got sub features, right? So as a user, I want to see a real-time location of my delivery on map. Correct, that is one of that. Define acceptance test for accuracy and performance. Like we got define definitely once we have that location identified, we need to find the accuracy, how accurate it is. Next, example, location updates every 10 seconds, map load within 2 seconds. These are the conditions. Review with the client during sprint demo. So you are only considering location for now and writing a user story that I as a user, I want to see real-time location on my delivery on my on a map, right? The define acceptance test for this will be what kind of accuracy, location updates every 10 seconds, and map loads within 2 seconds. So location is updated every 10 seconds for real-time order tracking. So let's say the delivery boy has picked your order and he is now coming to deliver to you. Now the map would automatically load within 2 seconds and location updates will be sent to the user or the customer every 10 seconds. And you need to review this, whether that this can be accepted or not with the client during the sprint demos. Sprint demos can be when you do a planning or when you actually finished working or before you implement anything, you would really discuss with the stakeholders. What to remember? Involve the client in defining acceptance criteria, ensure feasibility and realism. It should be realistic. It should not be something that is not achievable. It should be very realistic, simple. Okay. Where to do? Now, used in feature development from planning and designing, development of delivery. That is all already decided, right? Next is evaluation criteria. The same example, same feature, real-time order tracking feature. Now we'll use evaluation criteria and we'll see where can we use this technique. The purpose here is standard used to evaluate different options for implementing real time, such as cost, quality, timeline, technology stack, and scalability, what we just discussed. When comparing different implementation options or vendors. Now, let's say you want to implement this feature, and for this feature, you are looking for a better team, better thing where this particular feature can be get in low cost, good quality, less timeline, advanced technology, and a high scalability, right? That will be a client expectation. So which vendor or which team or which company we can provide me the best of all those factors comparing to develop it, right? Why to use? Make an informed decision based on predefined criteria and project requirements. So particular, let's say that particular feature is developed by some B team and also C team. So between B and C, you do a versus a comparison based on all the factors, that which of them is giving you the right what you can say time or right valuation, right point of advantage. Then you will choose. That means you're doing informed decisions based on comparison, right? Develop a scoring system for each citation. Cost 30%, quality 30%, timeline 20%, technology stack 10%, scalability 10%. Gather proposals from vendor or internal teams, compare based on established criteria. So 30% scorecard scoring system. Will use balanced scorecard technique in next video. I'll explain you why we use the 30% or 100 out of 100%. We are giving 30% to cost, 30% to quality, 20% timeline, 10% technology, and 10% scalability. That means if the cost is high for any of that particular comparison, let's say there's a company A, B, C who is providing you three different companies providing you the same feature. The first evaluated criteria for you would be the cost. Which one of them is giving the low cost? Which one of giving you the high quality? Which one of them is giving you less timeline? Even though the technology stack is not that updated, but still fine because it's just 10%. Scalability is still fine. That means if someone is giving you at very low cost, but a high technology and high scalability end, that is the right choice for you. But if someone is giving you, uh, someone is providing the same feature with a cost which is more than other, but providing other timeline as it is, then probably there might be, you might need to do a proper informed decision. So these are your criteria you set based on the scoring system. What to remember: tailor criteria to project goal and requirement. Consider weighing based on priority. What we just did is priority. We prioritized again the factors based on which one I need to focus. What you see from here is cost and quality is important. So our also I mean as a client, or as a developer, or I want to build that particular application, or I'm investing in order to build the application, my main focus is I don't want to spend more. That's the reason cost is 30%, right? So 30% of the cost and 30% quality is I don't want to spend more on cost. I want to reduce the cost. I want to look for a better option which is giving me the best features out without any cost, right? Next is the context, where to do used during vendor selection process, prioritizing feature, and making technology decisions. So this is all about acceptance criteria and evaluation criteria used in website development. Again, we have taken that is another example of real-time ordering, right? So this would definitely help you to perform or use this technique in your day-to-day activity. When you are using any requirement or when you are capturing any requirement, make sure you draw out acceptance criteria, that what exactly is client want out of that feature, then only the client will accept that particular feature. Second thing is who is providing you the best solution out there for the feature, on what factors you want to evaluate them. That is all about acceptance and evaluation criteria. Thanks for watching. Please go and watch this particular link, that you'll able to find all 50 techniques content already available there. I will be explaining you each of the content one by one in a video. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. See you again in the next video. Goodbye.